Oh my goodness, you guys, this is so awesome. That wasn't me. Maybe it was. I'll stay right here. I won't move the rest of the time. You guys and your silly dance moves, you actually think this is a dance move? That's just fancy sneezing. It's like, achoo! Yeah, it's a sneeze, people, okay? I know. You guys don't even know, like, the Running Man, like the old school, like one of these ones. Oh yeah, yeah, okay, I won't do those anymore because you guys are like therapy now. Okay, so students, I'm so excited to be here. My name is Jeff, although if those of you in the front can look at my name, you're like, dude, your name is Geoff. I know, I'm one of those Geoff kind of people. That's who I am, and I'm not from around here, I'm actually from Idaho. I know, you're like, oh, potatoes, yeah, I like those. Those things are great. Yeah. No, I'm actually from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So like this right here is the state of Idaho. This is what it looks like right here. And like I live up in the knuckle right there, and this is Canada, America's hat, right on top. Right? Yeah, they don't like it when you say that, by the way. Yeah, I live all the way up there in the knuckle, and I love what I get to do, and I get to be a professional speaker. But before I was a speaker, I was actually a professional whitewater rafting guide. Yeah, I know, you're like, yeah, coolest job ever. No, seriously, it was terrifying. Yeah, here you are as a guide, you get a little raft, right? They put you on it, they give you 1 day of training. At least my company gave me 1 day of training, and it was terrifying. Okay, whitewater rafting is supposed to be fun, not a death-defying experience. It was one of my near-death experiences, actually. It was kind of crazy. First time I ever got in the water was moving at 24,000 CFS. That means cubic feet per second past a single point in any point of the river. By the way, when you raft it, where I was rafting at, the ideal CFS was only 3,000. Yeah, 24,000, it was like a race car. It was like you put the boat in and all of a sudden you just start going. There's nothing you could do to stop it. The river took you where the river wanted to go. That's just how it went. And the first time I dipped an oar in the water, it actually shot me out of the seat. Yeah, the water grabbed it, was moving so fast, it grabbed the oar and woo! Just like almost launched me out of the boat. It was terrifying. But eventually, I became comfortable on the water. It was really cool. And it actually served me really well in life. And we'll actually draw some analogies between whitewater rafting and life because they're very similar. Very similar. You guys have all been talking about leaning in and working together as a team. The person, you know, all these people up here trying to make your life better, that's amazing. You guys have such an advantage and it's so cool. We didn't have these things when I was a kid, that's for sure. We didn't have this kind of stuff when I was around, which was a long time ago, and we'll tell you some more stories about that. But I gotta tell you, I get to travel around the country and I get to talk to amazing people all over the country and it's absolutely spectacular. As a matter of fact, I have favorite schools. I do. Some of them are actually here right now. Yeah. My kids over there, I love them. I love them. And it's crazy because they're like, it's us! And you guys are like, it's us, I don't know who this guy is, it's cool. But actually, one of my favorite schools is not necessarily the easiest school. As a matter of fact, the first year I ever went there, I remember them showing up at their school, and they said, okay, just so you know, just do the best you can, and we don't really think you can do a whole lot with our students. So, good luck. And I was like, cool, this is gonna be rad. And I was actually working with freshmen in high school. Freshmen. And freshmen are kind of challenging sometimes. And it's actually a school that's not too far from here. And the crazy thing is, I remember getting there and I was working with the leaders, getting them ready for their day, trying to get everything set up so that they could be successful. And all of a sudden, the freshmen come in. And it was wave after wave of student. And I remember going through the day, it was a tough day. It was really hard. They did a good job, but you know what? They had a lot of things going against them. They were fighting an uphill battle. It was like trying to row a boat without a paddle. It just doesn't work very well. You gotta have the tools. And we were trying to give them the tools. But I remember, very specifically, one student stood out above everybody else. He was a freshman in high school, but as a freshman, he was probably about my size. He was a pretty big guy for a freshman in high school, and I was like, he was just a little taller than everybody, a little bit broader than everybody. I was like, that guy, he's a big dude. And I remember because he also treated people with kindness. It was really, really cool. And by the end of the day, he was like so far above everybody else, I was just like, wow, like not just because he was taller, but because of the way he treated people. And he drew people into him, and people just wanted to be around him because he was such a good guy. And I was like, that guy is spectacular. Well, I left that school thinking I'd never go back again. And guess what? They called me back the next year, and they said, we want you back. And I said, okay, cool, I'm coming.
And I always show up, and then this year, I get a group of leaders that had actually gone through the program that were helping me out. And this kid shows up as a sophomore, and I said, oh man, I'm sorry, we got all the leaders we need. He's like, please just let me help out. And I said, you know, you did a spectacular job last year. By the way, the kid's name was Tim, but nobody called him Tim. Everybody called him DJ Cornbread. I don't know why. That just was his nickname. And I was like, okay, I remember you from last year. You're pretty fun. What can you do for me? He's like, let me play music. And I was like, awesome. So he got to play music for me. And oh my goodness, I now know why they call him DJ Cornbread. People would come in, he'd start playing some tunes, and he would mix his own stuff together, and people danced every time he played music, and I was like, this is awesome. It's a skill. And I was like, this is so cool. Well, I ended up going back to the school the next year, and the next year, and guess what? His junior year, he came back and was a leader for me. His senior year, he was a leader for me again, and I remember going, oh my goodness, I've had 4 years with this kid, and I've watched him literally grow up. By the time he was a senior, he was about 6'5", about 240 pounds, completely jacked. Okay? Big, burly dude. And I was just like, man, Tim, I bet your football coach loves you. And he's like, I don't play football. And I'm like, why not, dude? You're like the entire front line. He's like, I don't like to hit people. Aww. Like, he's seriously just a giant teddy bear. It was awesome. And I was like, okay, cool. And at the end of the day, I kind of pulled him to the side and I said, man, you are such an amazing leader. You've gotten all these skills, you've gotten all these talents, and you're the kind of person that just comes naturally to, and I don't know what you're going to do with your life, but it's going to be spectacular. I know it's going to be amazing. And I said that tomorrow, but like next year when you're gone, it's going to be kind of weird because you're not going to be here, and I don't know how we're going to do the program without you because you're a super huge part of why it's successful. Well, I get the call back to come again next year. I'm getting there, I'm getting ready, working with my leaders, and I'm a little bit, a little down because I didn't have DJ Cornbread with me that year, and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be tough, what am I gonna do? And guess who walks in the door? DJ Cornbread, you guys are good at prediction. He walks in, I scream like a little girl, I'm like, ah! I run over, I give him a great big hug, and everybody's like, why are you hugging DJ Cornbread? That's just weird. I'm like, why not? He's awesome, okay? And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you here? Aren't you supposed to be in school or something? He's like, don't tell anybody, I skipped class. I just wanted to be here one more time. And I was like, okay, that's really sweet, but you should be in college right now. And he's like, and my little brother's a freshman. And I was like, you want to help him out? He's like, he's a good kid, I want to help him out. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And he goes, and lastly, some of my best friends in the entire world are here right now, and I want one more year. Can I do it? And I was like, yes, come help us out, be a part of the most amazing day on your school campus, let's do this. And they'd be like, okay, cool. I gave them 5 minutes before the freshmen came in. I said, you guys get your stuff done, take care of all your personal needs because the next 6 hours are absolutely insane. You will not have time to take care of yourself because you're giving everything away. And they're like, okay, cool. He grabs all of his friends. There were 6 guys and him, 7 dudes all together. They run out to the center of the basketball court, they huddle themselves up in a little huddle, they start talking, then they start laughing, and all at the same time, every single one of them steps back and goes, and then they walk away. And I was just like, what is this? I don't know what that means. And our day starts and it gets a little crazy. All these freshmen are there, there's music playing, people are having a great time. And every time those guys would see each other, they'd make eye contact, and whenever they made eye contact, they'd go, and they'd get the same thing from like, boom, across the room. And I'm like, okay, and then it just started happening again and again. And I'm like, okay, seriously, what is going on? This is kind of weird. And then, at lunchtime, things got real weird. Each one of those guys ran around, grabbed 10 or 12 freshmen, huddled them up on the basketball court. There were 7 little huddles all over the court. And they start talking. They got them all tied in together, and like whispering, and then they start giggling, and then they start laughing, and then the leader goes to all the freshmen, they all go. And immediately, I'm like, okay, seriously, what is going on? I get on the microphone, I'm like, DJ Cornbread, please come to center court right now. You're needed by Sasquatch, thank you. By the way, my nickname is Sasquatch. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Tim, what is going on? What on earth is this? Are you recruiting for a gang? I was seriously worried. And he's like, no, dude, Sasquatch, okay, here you go. Pulls out his cell phone, pulls up this video, and it's him and those 7 guys, and they are in like a 1980 1984 four-door little Honda Civic or something, right? Tiny little car, all 7 dudes just crammed in clown style, right? And they pull up to the drive-thru at McDonald's, and they order 1 single ice cream cone. And I'm like, okay, first of all, dude, 7 dudes, 1 ice cream cone, nothing good can come of this. And he's like, don't worry, it gets better. And they pull up to the drive-thru window, he gives the McDonald's guy his $1, he gets his ice cream cone, and the driver of the car looks at the McDonald's guy and goes, excuse me, sir, but do you believe in unicorns? And the McDonald's guy goes, I'm sorry, what? I said, do you believe in unicorns? And the McDonald's guy's like, no. And he looks at him and he goes, wrong answer. Believe! And drives off with an ice cream cone stuck to his forehead. And I'm like, first of all, you guys have way too much money and free time if you're to run around sticking ice cream cones on your faces, okay? Seriously. Oh my goodness. And he was like, oh Jeff, it got so much better. The video stops. He's like, we were laughing so hard. We pull out of McDonald's and there's an immediate stop light right there. And we pull up and there's this car full of all these beautiful people. And the driver looks over and is like, what's up? And all these people in the car look at him like, oh my gosh, and they ran a red light. I'm like, dude, that's dangerous. He's like, oh, it was hilarious. He kept the thing on as long as it would stay. 2 blocks later, it falls off. It's dripping down his face. We are laughing hysterically. And then he points at one of his friends, one of my leaders, and he goes, that dude right over there, he laughed so hard, he actually peed his pants. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is just ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous. And he goes, it was one of those crazy moments where it took us from being friends to like more than friends. It took us to like family, man. These people right here, these guys, that this is our thing, they're my unicorn. And I would do absolutely anything for those guys. And at that point I was like, that's the most beautiful thing I think I've ever heard.